Hello Internet! So I recently did an unboxing of Star Trek Captain's Chair and I've got to spend a bit of time with it now. I've played 4 or 5 games, explored a bit of the content. I'm going to have another game this evening and after I've played it out I'm just going to give you my little mini review and my thoughts on this game because they're starting to crystallise. I will apologise in advance. There are currently some kittens in the house, so if there's any weird noises, they're really quite uncontrollable little monsters. So, on with the game and my thoughts about it. So I've just finished playing this game. I was playing a game of Jean-Luc Picard against Threlek Shran. I was playing Picard. I had the solo ensign level bot Shran because I'm still just learning the game. But as I played it, I think it went really well. Now, I'm not going to break down all of the rules for you because there are much better sources if you want to learn how to actually play the game. But the general concept is each captain has their own deck of cards. So, like, here's Colossus, 24 cards. And each of them also has their own little scoring board here, which tracks their progress in research, influence, and military. So you'll be taking actions with your cards to try and build that up. You'll be cycling through your deck, putting out ships, people, trying to take these locations that are both sides attacking. So you've got your ships attacking it and your away teams trying to take control. When you have certain more than your opponents on one, you'll take control of it and it'll go into your controlled locations. Those will give you certain effects. Cargo, the ships that you lay out, they all have their own certain effects. Who you choose to have as your duty officer can have certain effects. And you want to flip through your cards as quickly as possible. And every time you flip through them, you get to add to your deck through the reserves, which is more powerful cards, or later development cards, which you've got to pay for to increase your abilities and open up new tactics and strategies to you. At the same time, there's also this shared area here. There's people, cargo, which is empty because Shran took all of them in that game, ships, and allies, which all give you different extra traits, extra abilities, again, but there's the trade-off that if you get them, you'll probably get more victory points having them. You have more abilities by having them, but it makes your deck bigger, so it's slower to flick through. You've got to find more ways of drawing cards to empty your deck to reshuffle and add in these new extra high-powered cards. On top of that, you've got the incidents. These are energy drain, red alert, political crisis. These are negative effects which you're forced to take on at some points. And then you've got the real important things, the real big encounters. These are like strange space anomalies and all sorts of things which are going to have high points values at the end of the game, but it's not going to be likely to get. So the whole game, you're cycling through your deck, you're trying to build up your tracks, and just to give you a little show of these cards, so you've got Koloth here. You have certain multipliers as you build up on your different tracks, so when you get your research, your influence, or your military up, at certain points values, you get ×1, ×2, ×3, ×4, and these are different for all the different captains. So some of them you'll get much better bonuses by focusing on your research instead of your military. And likewise, each of the captains has a basic side where there's only one mission, in this case for Koloth, expanding the Empire. If he gets to have 6 deployed ships and controlled locations with at least one of each, he gets a reward. You also have the advanced side where there are multiple different missions you can go for, each with different victory point bonuses at the end of the game. So, there's loads and loads of different things you're working towards, depending on who you play, depending on whether you're in the basic or advanced mode. So, although the cards may seem really powerful when you're looking at it, for the other player, they may not be that powerful. So, while you're attacking this shared resource, sometimes you're getting things you don't want just to prevent your opponent getting them. I think it works really, really well. The solo bot doesn't play exactly the same as a human player. It's simplified with a this little card system of when you draw a card, how it reacts. But I won't go into too much detail because it's a really simple system, flows really well. But the effect it has on building up their resource and the effect it has on attacking yours, it really does a good job of simulating an opponent. I think it's spot on. Now, the real positives of it, the components. The components are absolutely top notch. All these little card standees for all the ships, depending on which location they're going to, and they all look stunning. The tokens are really clear, really well shaped. You have these extra little bars of gold pressed latinum. You've got these dilithium crystals, which again, like resource in the game, which can be used for various things and accrued in various ways. You've got the isolinear chips, which show the amount of activations you have each turn, because some cards you can play for free, some cards you've got to pay one of these for, and you only get 3 each turn, so you've got to use them wisely. Sometimes you can get additional ones, sometimes you can't, but just the component quality is really great, really, really great. The only downside to it, I think, is the cards themselves. As I said in my unboxing, they just feel really thin cards, flimsy. They don't have the premium feel that a card should have. And that said, I've played 4 or 5 games now. I've not had a problem playing with them, but they do feel like print-on-demand cards. That's the only way I can explain it. Now, another excellent thing about this game is just the sheer variety. Out of the box, there's 6 different captains you can play, and they all play so differently. They've all got different missions they're going for. They've got different cards in their decks with different abilities. I've only really played with 3 or 4 of them, and each one has been a completely different experience. And not only is each captain a different experience, there's so many ways to play it. There's the standard 2-player mode. There's the solo cadet training mode, where it's just one deck against itself. Really, it's kind of a training mode to kind of learn what you need to do to to win those missions, to unlock these extra victory points. Then there's the actual solo versus the bot, and the bot has 5 different levels, ensign, lieutenant, all the way up to admiral. And on top of that, there's the solo campaign system called the 5-year mission, where we have a record sheet and you build up an additional reinforcement deck as you play, and like each mission will get harder and harder and harder. It's just brilliant. And what makes me even more excited is I know there's more coming down the way. I don't have the details in front of me, but I know there's a new standalone starter kit coming with 6 new captains from around the Star Trek universe. There's an expansion pack coming with just adding a few more captains and a few more market cards to the system. So, Wikids are supporting it going forwards. Now, the only real negative for me, apart from the card quality, is the win conditions. So, if the instant deck ever runs out, if everyone's taken on so many negative red alert incidents that the game's forced to end, if you're playing the bot and you run out, that deck empties and you have to draw another one, you just lose. And if you're playing 2-player, whoever's got the most negatives is the loser. But if a game comes to a natural conclusion like this one does, you can't just look at the board and see who's won. There's a scoring system, which they give you a nice scoring pad to work out for, but it all depends on how many glory tokens you've accrued, the different multipliers on your cards. So like I was showing earlier, with those multipliers, they affect the victory points that some of the cards will get for you. The cards that you've logged, which is some cards you can take out of play to shrink your deck and trap behind your captain card, but you can't really see them when you're playing, so because you still get the points for them, but they are effectively out of the game. So that's what makes this so frustrating, is you can look at the board at the end of the game, and although I played really well and I've picked up some great cards throughout it, I know he's picked up shed loads of cargo cards and weapons and emptied the market filling them up. So there's lots of 1-2 point cards he's picked up. He could win. And just looking at the state of play, you don't know. If I'm playing a game of ASLSK or if I'm playing a bit of World War 85, there's really obvious victory conditions. There's get X amount of units off the west edge, control this hex at the end of the game. When you get to that last turn, you know exactly where you are. But for this game, I'm going to have to count up all sorts of different point values, make a little tally, and find out who has actually won and who hasn't. That said, I did have a lot of fun playing it, but it's just the uncertainty of whether or not I've won. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to tally up the points, and at the end of the game, I'll let you know whether or not I won this one. So after breaking down all those points, I scored 123, mostly bolstered by my really high influence track, which I managed to bolster up, and I had some really good cards out of the encounter deck. And they only scored 60. So I'm going to pack this up, go back up top, and I'll have some closing thoughts for you. So with that game logged as a win for Picard, my ratio is now just over 50% really of wins. That's what I like about this game. It always keeps it challenging. There's so many different ways that things can play out that every time I get these cards out, it's a completely different experience, even if I'm playing the same captain against each other. Now, one thing I've also got to say is I absolutely love the fact that it's come with a proper storage system. So there's space for all of your tokens, all of your counters. I mean, I've got lots of spare baggies being a Hex Encounter Wargamer, so I've done things up nicely. But, I mean, you can even keep the stands on all of the ship tokens and it not be an issue. And there's different sections for all the cards. Got my locations there, my Stardate timer cards there, my core cards, all your different captains in their own little place. Solar cards go in. And it's the tiniest little thing, but when this game first came to me and the box wasn't shutting, I had terrible thoughts that I was going to have to go and search the internet for some 3D printed third-party solution. But no, everything tucks away absolutely perfectly, and it shuts better than it did when I bought it. So what can I say overall? I love this game. I can see myself playing a lot more of it. I'm definitely going to do at least one campaign. I've enjoyed playing Picard. I enjoy playing the Klingons. I really want to get the Cisco deck out. The Burnham deck I've not done. I think it's Star Trek Discovery there from, and I've never watched that series, but it's got some interesting mechanics, so I do want to play it and learn more about it. I have read a little bit about the upcoming expansion, and that sounds cool. The standalone version, Star Trek Captain's Chair to Boldly Go. By the selection of captains there, none of them really interest me, but as a system, if it means I can combine the two markets together and still have a balanced game, I'll definitely buy it. So it just depends if it's a standalone, I'll probably leave it. But if it integrates nicely, I'm going to pick it up. Would I buy this if I wasn't a Star Trek fan? I think this is still a really good game, but it is absolutely amplified by being a Star Trek fan. Because I spent so many hours in front of the TV watching Jean-Luc Picard, seeking out new life and new civilizations, playing him in this has undoubtedly connected me with it much more. That said, even if you're not a Trekkie, if you just like science fiction in general, it's a really, really good game. If you're a solo gamer or a board gamer in general, and you're a Star Trek fan, this is an absolute must buy. 2 thumbs up, Wikids This is the best thing you've done in years, by a long shot. So let me know what you think, guys. Have you bought it? Are you interested in it? Is it something you'd like to try? All I know is that at some point in the future, I'd love there to be an expansion where I get to be the Borg Queen, flying a Borg cube around. The new game mechanics they could do for that would be brilliant. But until next time, happy gaming!